When your favorite TV show suddenly lost its magic. One week it was the best part of your week, and the next it was doing strange things like adding a weird new character, moving everyone across the country, or yes, having someone actually jump over a shark on water skis. This is what we call jumping the shark. It is a desperate move for ratings that destroys what made a show special in the first place. The phrase comes from a 1977 Happy Days episode where Fonzie really did it, and years later, writer John Hine made the term popular. Of course, we are covering that complete disaster. For Gen X, we watch these moments happen in real time. A few shows recovered, but most did not. Now before we jump in, hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us keep these nostalgia trips going every single week. Dallas, Larry Hagman, Patrick Duffy, Linda Gray. So let's start the countdown with Number 1. Taxi, The Wedding of Latka and Simka. Aired on ABC and NBC. Taxi debuted in 1978 and ran for 5 seasons, starting on ABC before ending on NBC in 1983. This critically loved show earned an impressive 18 Emmy Awards during its run, honoring the cast and its excellent writing and directing. Judd Hirsch led the series as Alex Rager, the caring heart of the Sunshine Cab Garage. Danny DeVito stole every scene as the cruel dispatcher Louis De Palma, while Mary Lou Henner played Elaine, Jeff Conaway played Bobby Wheeler, Tony Danza played Tony Bonta, and Christopher Lloyd's Reverend Jim gave the show its perfect mix of dreamers and misfits. Andy Kaufman's Latka Gravis added pure chaos with his made-up language.
You need the friends and the food and clothes. Then you'll be a happy person.
Hey.
And a nice car.
Latka was either comedy gold or wonderfully strange, depending on how much you could handle Kaufman's kind of chaos. Kaufman eventually got bored with the character, which led to the idea of Latka having multiple personalities. The most famous one was the smooth-talking Vic Ferrari, which pushed the character in very wild directions.
My name is Vic. I'm into Italian cars, Technic stereos, Australian films, and beautiful ladies. If you're interested, let's talk. If not, it's been fun.
Vic, huh?
No, not Vic, huh? Vic Ferrari.
The early seasons leaned into very absurd humor. Remember Season 1's Paper Marriage, where Latka married a woman to avoid deportation, and an unusually kind Louis even played the violin at the ceremony? That was classic Taxi. Silly situations with real heart. The jokes worked because they celebrated absurd moments without becoming uncomfortable. Latka's later romance with Simka Doblitz, played by Oscar nominee Carol Kane, became one of the show's sweetest storylines. It was strange and unpredictable. By Season 4, Episode 21, Latka and Simka finally walked down the aisle in The Wedding of Latka and Simka. The ceremony was filled with bizarre traditions. The bride and groom switched clothes and answered game show questions. That should have been the peak of Taxi's weirdness.
Abi, question number 1. Ketchni bab ketchni amushkipa, who is it who is not your brother? Konsko peternsni, yet he is your father's son.
Instead, the marriage closed off one of the show's strangest storylines, forcing the writers to search for more and more desperate ideas. The most infamous example came in the 2-part episode Sinkus from a Marriage, where Latka believed a strange cultural ritual required Simka to get even after he confessed to cheating through an alternate personality. Alex was unwillingly chosen through ritual methods, but refused to take part. This type of story pushed the show into darker and more uncomfortable territory than its original workplace comedy style. The wedding marked a quiet jumping the shark moment, a turning point that changed the show's core identity. ABC canceled Taxi after Season 4 because of falling ratings. Critics still praised the show's quality, but viewers were slowly leaving. NBC picked it up for a 5th season and paired it with a new show called Cheers, co-created by Taxi writers Glenn and Les Charles and director James Burrows. The ratings remained poor despite the strong lineup. While Taxi slowly came to its final stop in 1983, Cheers went on to become a cultural phenomenon, proving that the same creative minds still had plenty of fuel left. Number 2, Dallas, aired on CBS. Premiering in 1978, Dallas was the primetime soap that defined the 1980s, running for 14 seasons until 1991. Set at South Fork Ranch, it followed the rich and troubled Ewing family as they plotted, betrayed, and stabbed each other in the back while ruling Texas oil country. At the center was Larry Hagman as J.R. Ewing, the ruthless, womanizing oil tycoon everyone loved to hate. Balancing him was his younger brother, Bobby, played by Patrick Duffy, the honest moral compass who tried, and usually failed, to keep the family together. Victoria Principal co-starred as Pam Barnes, Bobby's wife, whose family feud with the Ewings only made everything more complicated. Dallas became a worldwide phenomenon. Friday nights meant sitting around the TV to see what JR would do next and which Ewing would betray another that week. But in 1985, Patrick Duffy decided he was finished. After years of primetime drama, he left to chase a film career. Dallas did not just remove Bobby from the story, they gave him a shocking death scene to close out season 8. In the season 8 finale, Bobby bravely pushed Pam out of the way of an oncoming car, was hit himself, and later died in the hospital. It was a shocking moment felt around the world. Viewers mourned, the Ewings mourned, and season 9 struggled without its golden boy. Ratings fell enough to show just how much Bobby's absence mattered. That's when desperation set in. Missing his friend and co-star, Larry Hagman convinced Duffy to come back. The problem was, how do you bring someone back from the dead without it looking silly? The writers had to figure out a way to resurrect Bobby. Duffy's wife reportedly suggested the wild solution: make all of season 9 a dream. In the season 9 finale, Pam woke up, heard the shower running, and opened the door to find Bobby alive and smiling.
Good morning.
Just like that, an entire year of Dallas disappeared. Pam's marriage to Mark Grayson was erased. The death of Jaime Ewing was erased. Dozens of twisted storylines vanished with the steam from that shower. For fans, it was whiplash. Some celebrated Bobby's return, but many felt cheated out of a year's worth of emotional investment. Even the cast was angry that their storylines had been wiped out. Ratings bounced back for a while, but the show's credibility never fully recovered. The dream season remains one of TV's most infamous jumping the shark moments, a desperate move that showed the industry what happens when you treat your own stories as disposable. Dallas continued for 5 more years, but it never regained the magic that made it must-watch television. Taxi, Judd Hirsch, Danny DeVito, Marilu Henner. Number 3, Laverne and Shirley, aired on ABC.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Bev Incorporated.
Laverne and Shirley debuted in 1976 as a spin-off from Happy Days and ran for 8 seasons. Penny Marshall's Laverne DeFazio and Cindy Williams' Shirley Feeney quickly made it one of ABC's biggest hits. Set in 1950s Milwaukee, the show followed 2 roommates trying to get by as bottle cappers at Schatz Brewery. Its blue-collar setting gave it heart, while the slapstick comedy brought the laughs. Add in Michael McKean and David Lander as the oddball neighbors Lenny and Squiggy, Phil Foster as Laverne's dad Frank, Betty Garrett as landlady Edna Babish, who eventually married Frank, and Eddie Mecca as Carmine Ragusa, Shirley's on and off boyfriend, and you had a supporting cast that worked perfectly. Those early Milwaukee episodes had a lived-in feel that seemed real. Then season 6 arrived. In episode 1, Not Quite New York, brewery automation left Laverne and Shirley out of work, so they decided to move to California after a very strange dream sequence.
What are we gonna do? Maybe this was a mistake.
No. Something will come along.
Frank and Edna had already moved to Burbank, where they opened a Texas barbecue restaurant called Cowboy Bill's. Lenny and Squiggy also moved to California and started the Squignowski Talent Agency, which was mostly just an excuse to try to meet attractive women. Eventually, Carmine followed the group west to chase his dream of becoming a successful singer and dancer. The move was a bold reset that brought everyone back together, but it felt like watching completely different characters. The Milwaukee identity, the working-class jobs and neighborhood hangouts disappeared overnight. Suddenly, every week brought another wild California adventure. One week, Laverne and Shirley were mistaken for stunt women. The next week, they accidentally ate brownies with marijuana and nearly married two British rock stars who were trying to get green cards.
Oh, look at the last brown.
Hey, don't eat that.
Hey, that's enough of that. You got enough of those marijuana brownies. Come on, spit it out.
Spit it out.
Spit it out, come on.
Marijuana brownie!
Behind the scenes, things kept changing. Betty Garrett left after season 6. Then, just 2 episodes into season 8, Cindy Williams left over a contract dispute, leaving Penny Marshall to carry the show on her own. Without Shirley, Laverne and Shirley became just Laverne, and that wasn't enough. The move from Milwaukee to California marked the show's jumping the shark moment. It wasn't subtle, it was a dramatic change that clearly said, we're out of ideas. Ratings stayed okay for a while, but by 1983, even Penny Marshall was ready to move on. The show ended not with the beloved roommates we had grown to love, but with an empty version that never recovered from leaving home. Now, since you're still here, take a quick moment to like and subscribe if you've ever shouted, "What were they thinking?" at your TV. Now let's get back to the countdown with Number 4, Family Matters aired on ABC and CBS.
It's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page.
When Family Matters premiered in 1989, it was presented as a wholesome, perfect spin-off about the Winslow family. The show ran for 9 seasons, moving from ABC to CBS for its final season in 1998. Reginald Vell Johnson played Chicago cop Carl Winslow. Jo Marie Payton played his wife Harriet. Darius McCrary was the oldest son, Eddie. Kelly Shanigna Williams played the middle daughter, Laura. And Jaime Foxworth played the youngest daughter, Judy, before she disappeared from the show without any explanation. And then came Steve Urkel.
Played by Jaleel White, Urkel was meant to be a one-time nerdy neighbor with suspenders, high-water pants, and a nasal catchphrase.
Did I do that?
Instead, he became the breakout star. By the mid-1990s, Family Matters wasn't about the Winslows anymore. It was the Steve Urkel Show. At first, his clumsy mishaps were a fun running joke. Then, in Season 5, Episode 8, Dr. Urkel and Mr. Cool, Steve drank a Cool Jeans formula that temporarily turned him into Stefan Urkel.
There is no Steve here. I'm Stefan, sweet thing. Stefan Urkel.
The smooth, confident alter ego that Laura actually liked. Some fans loved it. Others thought Stefan was a charisma vacuum in suspenders. The nerd versus cool gimmick became a repeated crutch. Steve later perfected the formula and built the Urkel Transformation Chamber, which looked like a modified portable toilet to make the process easier. Eventually, in Send in the Clones, a separate permanent Stefan was created, using a cloning machine inside the transformation chamber. By this point, Urkel's inventions had taken over the show. Jetpacks, a cloning machine, even a time machine that sent Carl and Steve back to the 1970s, so Carl could leave his younger self a note with stock tips to get rich.
Wow, Steve. Would you look at this place?
Your 3 o'clock donut, sir.
Oh, gee, thanks, Chuck.
That didn't sit well with many viewers. The Cool Jeans formula marked the show's jumping the shark moment. What began as a grounded family sitcom turned into a mad science comedy starring Steve Urkel. The Winslows, Carl, Harriet, and their kids were buried under gadgets, alternate personalities, and more ridiculous plots. The show went on for 4 more seasons, but it never truly found its way back to its original heart.
Number 5, Mork and Mindy, aired on ABC.
Mork and Mindy spun out of Happy Days in 1978.
Mork and Mindy spun off from Happy Days in 1978 after Robin Williams stole the show as Mork the Alien. ABC quickly put a sitcom on the air, and for a while, it was magic. Williams improvised like a man possessed, while Pam Dawber grounded him with perfect straight woman timing. All of it was built around the simple idea of an alien trying to understand Earth. The show ran for 4 seasons, but then the network got greedy. They changed the time slot, added new characters, and focused heavily on romance. Ratings dropped fast, and by season 4, ABC was desperate. Their big plan? Marry off Mork and Mindy and give them a baby. In just 3 episodes. Talk about fast work. In episode 4, titled 3 the Hard Way, we saw one of the strangest half hours of television ever aired.
My little bundle of joy!
Mork laid a giant egg from his navel, which grew and hatched into their child, Mirth, played by Jonathan Winters. Yes, Jonathan Winters, the legendary comedian who was in his 50s at the time. Take a moment to let that sink in. Technically, the writers had an explanation. Orkins aged backward, so a baby that looked middle-aged made sense in the show's logic. Winters had even guest-starred earlier as Mindy's Uncle Dave, but recycling him as Mork's son screamed creative exhaustion. The show shifted from Alien Learns About Earth to Robin Williams and Jonathan Winters trying to outdo each other, while Pam Dawber was reduced to reacting from the sidelines.
I'm your father. Oh, that's nice.
I think I thought of a name for him, Min.
Oh, ow! No, sesame.
The chemistry between Williams and Winters was undeniable. They were both improv legends, but it was also total chaos that buried whatever charm the original show still had. Ratings dropped, and by May 1982, Mork and Mindy was over. For Robin Williams, working with his idol was a dream come true. For the audience, it felt like Mork and Mindy had turned into an alien daycare nobody asked for. The Mirth episodes stand as one of television's most desperate jumping the shark moments, proof that even Robin Williams' genius couldn't save a show that had lost its way. Number 6. Happy Days, aired on ABC.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
And now for the original show that jumped the shark. Happy Days debuted in 1974 and ran until 1984, making it one of the longest-running sitcoms of its time. It began as a nostalgic look at 1950s Milwaukee life, centered on the Cunningham family. Tom Bosley played the steady dad, Howard. Marion Ross played the warm but firm mom, Marion. Ron Howard was the squeaky clean Richie, and Erin Moran played the kid sister, Joni. Add Richie's friends, Potsy and Ralph, plus the gang's hangout, Arnold's Drive-In, and you had the perfect 1950s time capsule. By the way, if you want the full story on how this show became a cultural phenomenon, we covered that in our Happy Days deep dive, links in the description. But the real reason Happy Days became such a phenomenon was Henry Winkler as Arthur Fonzie Fonzarelli. The leather jacket, the motorcycle, and the magic fist that made jukeboxes play on command. Fonzie became the breakout star, and for a while, the coolest guy on television. In season 5, the writers went big, maybe too big. The gang traveled to Los Angeles, and while at the beach, Fonzie met a local tough guy called the California Kid. The kid challenged Fonzie to prove his bravery by jumping over a confined shark on water skis. Because Fonzie's pride wouldn't let him back down, he accepted. In episode 3, Hollywood, Part 3, which aired on September 20th, 1977, Fonzie strapped on water skis, still wearing his leather jacket over his bathing suit, and literally jumped over a shark. It was ridiculous. The Milwaukee greaser who spent his nights at Arnold's was suddenly performing a crazy stunt in board shorts. The stunt was reportedly included to show off Henry Winkler's real-life water skiing skills, but fans saw it for what it really was, a desperate grab for attention. Here's the thing,
Happy Days didn't end there. It continued for 6 more seasons, and the show actually finished as the #2 rated series in Season 5 and #4 in Season 6. Many viewers stuck around until the series ended in 1984, but for some of us, the real Happy Days ended the second Fonzie went airborne over that shark. One leather jacket, one pair of water skis, one very confused shark, and the moment that gave us the phrase we've been using throughout this entire countdown. TV desperation distilled into one absurd stunt that somehow became part of our language. And there you have it, 6 shows that jumped the shark. Some stumbled and limped along, others went down in flames. But which ones should we cover in Part 2? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like these kinds of videos, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next.